This will decide everything for the San Diego Padres. The series against the Los Angeles Dodgers is coming up. The Padres are going to get their aces, and they're going to get a shot at taking back the lead in the NL West. They might even have it back by the time they head into the series. I'm recording this while they are currently whooping up on the Giants, but the Dodgers have a game later tonight that has not been played as of yet. So what's going on, everybody? Christian Pedersen, back with another episode of Padres Digest. Thank you very much for tuning in. On this episode, we are going to be previewing that Dodgers series. Not just that Dodgers series, the Dodgers series. The Padres, they get another shot at the Los Angeles Dodgers. But before we go to talk about this series, and if you want to talk about the ramifications of getting to play the Giants again, if you could hit the subscribe button, it would be much appreciated. If not, no worries. Going to be able to talk baseball all year long, no matter what your feedback is, positive or negative, but it's all appreciated. Okay. The Padres are in a position right now where, like I said, they're going to get the Los Angeles Dodgers a couple of times here. But let's focus specifically on the next three games. Let's talk about what I think they mean, ... as the simplest way to put it. But yeah, like I said at the beginning, I think that this will decide or could decide. I get that you have to play all the way until the end of the season, but I really do think that the Padres, this series could be pretty, if not entirely decisive in terms of like the blueprint on the line. The Los Angeles Dodgers, for the last couple of years, have been the cream of the crop of the National League and have been the team that the Padres have been aspiring to beat and to be and to surpass and whatever the verb is that you want to go with. But looking at the Dodgers as the standard to beat, the Padres have fallen short of that. The Padres fell short of that earlier this season. The Padres were like 3.5, 4 back, ended the series 6 back. They lost ground to it, and that could happen here. The Padres could. There are obviously a couple of permutations ranging from a Padres sweep to the Padres getting swept. But looking ahead at the probable starters and everything that we've got going on, my biggest grin in all of this is that it's going to be a real test because the Padres, this is not publicly listed as the probables. It's still NA in terms of everything that you see online. But if you just look at where they are in the rotation, it's going to be Michael King back on the mound for game 1 of the series. It's going to be Dylan Cease on the mound for game 2 of the series. And Padres close it out for game 3 of the series with Yu Darvish. So we can all agree to disagree on the valuations of certain starting pitchers. I know that I hit the hypothetical trade button on Dylan Cease a ton, and I am not trying to reverse course and be like, oh my gosh, I'm like stoked, but hypothetically, that's your 1 through 3. That's a pretty good shot in terms of who you want to have going into a series against any team, but especially the team, quote unquote, that you're trying to beat in the Los Angeles Dodgers. On the flip side, the Dodgers, if you do the same math as the Padres, they will have Clayton Kershaw on the mound for game number 1. So Kershaw versus King. Game number 2, Blake Snell versus Cease. And then game 3 for the Dodgers looks like it'll be Tyler Glasnow. So Glasnow, Darvish. It's a lot of names to throw at you guys, and we'll dig deeper into the numbers. But the TLDR of all of it is that they're getting allegedly our best shot 1, 2, 3, and let's dive into that for a second because like I said, I don't want to be revisionist, Johnny come lately, accused of fair weatherism in the Dylan Cease category. I am still confident that he can have a good game or two, but I am not going to backtrack on saying that he is not having a career season. That's just not who he is. If you look at his numbers right here, 5-10, 4.52 ERA. For that subset out there that has talked all season about, oh, he's second half pitcher. Like now that we've got this bullpen, like he can throw a bunch of strikes and just work the count and be unleashed for 4 or 5 innings and be super effective. And just, you see, like, when we get them playoffs, like, he delivered. Okay, cool, great. I am super ready to stand here and be super wrong. And, you guys can chide me and kick me off of the World Series victory lap for doubting Cease if he gives us that moment. But if not this start, when is a better chance to sample that moment? Second half of the season. Big game against the Dodgers. Division first place is on the line. What is there to not? What box is left unchecked in terms of big start for Cease right there? So, again, I get that that's only one game, and it might be an unfair sample size, but I would say that we're at the point that if we're playing the Dodgers and it looks like we've got everything else figured out in terms of bullpen, offense, all this, if he can't step up in some degree and have a manageable good, like, because if he goes 4 and 3, like, if he's basically the way that Snell was last year, where he can get us through the first time and a half of the lineup, throw a bunch of pitches, but, it really, okay, like 4 2/3, 1 run, 7 hits, like, no walks, cool, great. You got out of it, and then you hand it off to the dynamite bullpen that we have. That is fantastic. That is not sustainable long term. But if Cease ends up being like the guy or two in the rotation that ends up doing that, maybe that's entirely winnable. Maybe that's something that the Padres can sustain. But okay, great. On the flip side of looking at the Dodgers, their 1, 2, 3 that they're bringing in on this. Kershaw, a known commodity, and all as much as we ever want to hate on treating him like the SpongeBob, how many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man meme? Like, having himself a good season, respectable season for any age, any point in a career. 6 and 2, 3. Hell, we were just talking ourselves potentially into believing that a 5 and 10 with a 4-something ERA Cease is a good pitcher for us. So these numbers are good. I don't want to knock him and get caught saying, oh, like, he's ancient. It's what he's not going to be. Like, he is a good test. Blake Snell, number 2 starter for them. Again, a good test. Curious, though, to see the Dodgers. They have struggled as of late, dropping this midsection of the season, losing a lot of games, giving up a lot of ground. Obviously, now that the Padres, they have been playing hot too, but you have to have 2 to tango in terms of changing positions in the standings. So obviously Dodgers losing some momentum, losing some ground. You see Snell's numbers have been limited because he has been on the IL for a large chunk of the season. So the way that we're getting King back and becoming our, evolution of ourselves, the Dodgers are kind of going through that too, because you look at Blake Snell, not a ton of starts, and then that continues over with Tyler Glasnow. So we're getting guys who allegedly this is basically the Dodgers' best. We're going to miss Shohei on this pass of things. He is slated to throw today for the Dodgers. They are taking on the Angels. Like I said, it is being played after I record this game. But that means that Shohei, should he actually pitch that day, I don't think the Padres or the Dodgers would mess with their science on Shohei's arm just to line him up against the Padres. So assuming we miss him on this first test, we will get him again later this month. But really, that's the 1, 2, 3 that represents, I think, the Dodgers 3 out of 4 of their visions of, like, here's our prime guys starting a series. So the Padres are getting the Dodgers' hypothetical alleged best shot, if you will. The Padres are going to be giving the Dodgers, hypothetically, their alleged best shot. I think that, again, you can take the grain of salt that if this is August, it's not October. Maybe not every single guy is going to go 100% or have that, like, pump in his blood that it's October play. Okay, sure. You want to feign that somehow this game gets played with a different intensity a month and a half, 2 months down the schedule, or in the playoffs or whatever. Sure, great. But to me, this kind of tells you everything that you need to know in terms of where you are as the Padres. You're hot right now. You're playing well right now. You're playing your best guys, but you're playing your biggest and best opponent. Can you take 2 out of 3? Can you take 2 out of 3 without having the 3, the one that you drop, being a stinker? Can you sweep? Can you take 2 out of 3 and win one of them dominantly? Can you take, can you show off in X, Y, or Z? Like there's a lot of questions for me about what the Padres have, but all of the answers potentially could accumulate into this being a series where the Padres take the lead back in the NL West and kind of benchmark themselves as like, hey, we're not just up to the test against the Dodgers. We took a pretty fair punch from them. We punched back. Yes, we missed Shohei, but really, like, we looked good. So I'm curious where it's going to end up. Drop a comment in terms of what you think is going to go on in this series and some players that you're looking at for who you think needs to step up or could step up. Let me know what you think about the Padres taking over the NL West or anything else that you want to hear a video on. And like I said, if you could hit the subscribe button, it would be much appreciated. Not, no worries. Talk to you guys soon.